more confident he gets with his ability to stuff the takedown. Big left hook!
It's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marked by dust and sweat and blood.
Welcome to the Men in the Arena podcast, where we interview specialists in the realm of manhood. Each of our guests is an expert in their chosen field or cause as it relates to men. Our conviction is to call you into the arena of manhood, call you out of the faceless, nameless bleachers, and call you up to be the best version of you. Because when a man gets it, everyone wins. Enjoy today's episode.
Men in the Arena Army, we salute you. Hey guys, thanks for listening to another episode of the Men in the Arena podcast. I'm Jim Ramos, and I'm here today with my co-host, Dale Culver. How you doing, my man?
Doing excellent.
Hey, I got to tell you, I'm doing excellent too, because we've got a guy on right now who in the 2000 to 2010, I grew up cheering for this guy, rooting him on. This guy is one of the greatest UFC fighters in the history of the sport. And so I am really pumped to get him on the show. But before I tell you who it is, do you have a man word or a hero story for us today?
Yeah, I have both. Man word, you're probably going to be very, very, very disappointed in me, and you're going to ridicule me. So I'll just unleash the word.
Adversity.
No, it's fight.
Oh, yeah, that's vanilla.
No, I just believe that men need to fight. They need to fight for the things that they believe in, passionate about. And if you're not passionate about something, you need to check in and see if you have a pulse. Because if you're alive, you have a mission, and you need to go out there and, like Jim says, Jim's wife says, you either need to be a missionary or you are a mission field, and you should probably choose to be a missionary and go take care of your mission.
It's really interesting. It's interesting when I think about my faith. I've seen a lot of guys come and go spiritually over the years, and I've noticed that they all have one thing in common. They're essentially weak, mentally weak. And something gets them, and it takes them out, and they're not willing to fight for what really, really matters. I think the other thing about Christianity in America is it's so soft and easy. It's easy to step in and out of it. We really need to make it hard. We need to make it illegal. I'm not a fan of praying in the schools. I think make it illegal, then the kids step up, you know. And so I'm doing this chaplain thing for this football team, a university here in the area, and they have to make the effort to come and pray every Wednesday together. And they make a stance in front of the whole team that, hey, I'm a believer. And I think those are the things that really matter. So, yeah, I think that's great. And we're going to, man, that's a great topic for today because we've got a fighter on our hands. And so so you also said you had a hero story.
Yeah, so I just saw this. This came across my desk here through you the other day, and this came from a guy named Kevin in Mexico.
Cabo.
Yeah, exactly. We had posted your message that you did at your church, which, by the way, was awesome, about being still and knowing that I am God, and it really impacted this guy, and he sent a nice paragraph, but bottom line is, in this season of his life, he's saying, man, I needed to hear that. I needed to stop, and I need to listen to God speak in my life, so that was really cool.
Yeah, and the message title is called What Matters Most, because what matters most is your relationship with Christ. So,
right.
Hey, I want to brag about our guest today, our new friend, Matt Hughes. Matt Hughes is 47 years old, lives in Staunton, Illinois. And I'm just going to go on to Wikipedia and tell you what it says about him. Matt is widely considered among the greatest fighters in the history of MMA. He's a two-time UFC Welterweight Champion, UFC Hall of Fame inductee, and NJCAA Hall of Fame inductee. Matt ended his UFC career 45-9. That's insane. During his tenures in the Ultimate Fighting Championships, Hughes put together 2 separate 6-fight winning streaks, defeated all the available opposition in the welterweight division, and defended the belt, and then a record 7 times. In May of 2010, he became the 8th inductee in the UFC Hall of Fame. During his reign, Matt was considered the #1 pound-for-pound mixed martial artist in the world. He was also regarded as many as one of the greatest welterweight fighters of all time, as well as one of the great pound-for-pound fighters in the sport's history. In 2008, Hughes published his autobiography, Made in America, which, Matt, I just ordered it yesterday. I didn't know you were a best-selling author, so I just ordered this book. And I love this part. Hughes, it says on Wikipedia, Hughes has no nickname. Although his successes against the Gracie Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioners such as Royce, Renzo, and Ricardo Almeida and Matt Serra, people often refer to him as the Gracie Killer. So, Matt, it's great to have you on the show, man. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I never won a nickname, so I just didn't allow it.
Well, it's funny because you're an Illinois farm boy, and you just walk into the ring and we're just American, an all-American man. I love the Hank Williams Jr. song, "A Country Boy Can Survive," and that really is what I thought of when I saw you.
I'm country, and just all you country people out there need to know, you come out, I'm off, green blood comes out. I'm a John Deere guy, not international.
Oh, so the Craig Morgan song "International Harvester" is not your favorite song?
No.
I just heard him at the
There's
fair
a song-
in my area.
There's a song called John Deere Green. That's my song.
I hear you. I hear you. Billy Bob loves Jolene.
You're right.
Oh, baby. Well, hey, we're on the same page, man. Same page. So, hey, it is an honor to have you on the show. And like I said, I was a huge fan when you were fighting. I just can't believe, looking at your bio, you're 47 years old, because you were pounding guys when you were in your, up until about 40 years old. I mean, it's super, super impressive. Hey, I got a question for you. When you were fighting, were there other outspoken Christian fighters?
Rich Franklin was Christian.
Okay.
And a couple of others. Now, if I could survive practice, the fight was easy. Our practices were so tough back in the day.
Yeah, and you were in the Militich camp?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was. And where was that based out of?
Quite cities in Iowa, Davenport, Iowa.
Oh, Davenport. Okay, I've spoken at an event there. Okay, yeah. Wow. So, so when you were fighting, what did you do to stay strong in your faith? Because you're in a sport where, you're paid to beat up on guys. You have ring girls walking around. There's a lot of probably temptation thrown your way with fame. How did you keep your faith strong during those times?
I tried to stay in the Word. I read whenever I fought over in Japan one time. I took my Bible with me, and I was reading my Bible 5 minutes before the fight.
No, do you have a favorite Bible verse?
1 Timothy 1:13 through 16.
Oh, do you know what that says roughly?
Even though I was once a blasphemer and violent man, I was shown mercy. So so Jesus can display His unlimited patience and understanding.
I only asked that question because I couldn't remember what the verse was myself. So I appreciate that. It sounds like you hit it perfect. It sounds just like when I'm reading it. I just didn't know the address. So yeah. So at your level, so when you were, I want to kind of go from when you were fighting and transition all the way to present day. At your level, you're fighting guys. I know that BJ Penn later on in your career did pretty well against you, but you are fighting world-class guys, and you are the best of the best during your heyday. What separated you from so many fighters with similar skill levels? Like when you look back on those days, what was the difference maker for you?
I was mean. So my promoter, before I got in the UFC, he said, "Matt, I can't find opponents for you." I said, "Why?" Because you don't just beat people; you beat people up bad. So I didn't hurt people, but I went out to hurt people, my theory is when I go into octagon or cage, I look at my opponent and I take everything I love it and put it behind him, and I think to myself, he's got everything I love it and it's behind him, so I have to beat him to get my stuff back. My wife, my kids, everything I love is behind him.
Oh, well, it's interesting, Matt. I spent, like I said, 2 hours yesterday watching all your old fights on YouTube, and you never had an angry look in your eye. And after you pummeled these guys, you would always go pick them up. So you were able to switch from this vicious killer to this nice, kind man. Was that dichotomous for those guys? Did they look at you and go, "What is this guy about?"
I don't know. I was only met one time in a fight. You probably saw on YouTube.
Yeah, I can't remember who it was. Was it Sarah? Matt Sarah?
No,
Grace St. Pierre, a GSP?
no.
Because I know
Frank
GSP.
Jake.
I remember there was one fight where you got a little frustrated, but I couldn't remember who it was. What happened?
It was Frank Trick. He needed me in the nuts, and then I tried to look at the rep and take some time off, and he advanced and tried to beat me up after he hit me in the nuts. He knew he hit me low. My cup is a lot different than my privates.
And so, but you took him out pretty quick after that, didn't you?
I was pissed, and pissed isn't great. Pissed isn't great because you lose your mind, but I just want to tear that guy up. So
I didn't know that he did that on purpose. I would be a little bit angry if somebody did that as well. So, so when did you know it was time to retire? I mean, I know BJ Penn. I think you fought 3 times and he beat you all 3. At some point, twice.
I beat him the first time.
Oh, that's right. Okay,
him.
so. And then with George St. Pierre, you beat him once as well?
Yeah, the first time.
At what point did you know it was time to retire?
I hate being retired right now, but after I was losing people I should have beat, I knew it was time.
And so what did you do? So you retired in around 2010. So from 2010 to 2017, what did your life look like in that period of time?
Just kind of is boring. For me, it's boring. And then I had a hunting show for 2 or 3 years. That was good because I could travel and compete against an animal. It's not human, but compete against an animal.
In what way? What were you doing?
Hunting.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because you were on that. What was the name of that show? Trophy Takers.
Trophy hunters.
Okay, Trophy Hunters. What's your favorite animal you hunted?
A hippo in Africa, or either a stag, maybe a stag in New Zealand.
Oh, I would. That's on my bucket list, man. So now the hippo thing makes me a little nervous because they're one of the most ferocious animals on the planet. Was that an archery hunt?
No. Hippo kills more people. Only one thing kills more people in Africa than the hippo. Mosquitoes.
Yeah. So
I'm
did you
serious.
actually? I know. Did you actually kill the hippo? Did you get one?
Hmm.
And is that available? Can a guy find that on YouTube?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know.
I couldn't. I didn't bring the whole thing home. I just brought some teeth home.
Okay, I gotcha. Now do they have ivory teeth or?
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, so so guys, if you want to know the details of what I'm going to ask next, you can go to YouTube and look this up. But let's go to 2017. So 2017, you're moving some equipment in your truck, and you come to a railroad track. There's no signs. You have a blind spot, and you end up getting hit by a train, and the car was drugged. And I know that you don't remember the events around that, but can you give us a little bit of that story?
I was working for a farmer, and I was taking some diesel to a tractor, and when you go across these tracks, it's a bad angle. So when I turned to the side to look down the tracks, all I saw was the seat on the passenger seat and the piece of the truck between the front and the back door. So it's really a bad spot. So, and the corner was up, so even if I could see, I wouldn't be able to see down the tracks. But the train hit me, and I think I would have kind of walked away. But when the train hit me, it pushed me into a pole that had a cable to block off the crossing in case the police didn't want anyone crossing. So that cable come back and he hit me in the back of the head. That cable gave me the worst brain injury possible.
Yeah, you were in a coma for 19 days, right? And so the injury that you
That's
suffered
what they
now,
say.
yeah, you were out. So you suffered a TBI, specifically a stage 3 diffused axonal brain injury, also known as a brain shear. So now I had a friend fell off a truck a year ago and had the same injury and died from it. And so you didn't die, but what happened? So when you came to consciousness, what could you and could you not do?
I couldn't talk really at all. I don't even remember waking up. It was bad because I had this nurse kept taking me in a wheelchair to go get lunch, and I couldn't talk, but I could hit my shoulder. This man gave me your phone so I could. Who? I typed, "Who are you?" And the person pushing the wheelchair stopped. She come in front of me. She said, I'm your wife."
Oh my gosh.
"Give me your ID." I said, "Give me your ID." And sure enough, it had Hughes on it.
Oh, what were your thoughts when that happened?
I just couldn't believe I couldn't remember my wife.
And so let me just read what this is, just so our listeners understand. A diffused axonal injury is the shearing or tearing of the brain's long connective nerve fibers, or axons. And this happens when the brain is injured as it shifts and rotates inside the bony skull. So this is usually causes coma, injury, and in many different parts of the brain. And so you couldn't walk and you couldn't talk, but you could communicate. And that's in 2017, so that's just 4 years ago, right? So what did the doctors tell you? What did they say your future would be like?
They didn't say much. They just said I'm gonna have to have therapy, maybe the rest of my life.
So now, Matt, so physically, when you are a world-class athlete, par excellence. I mean, there's nothing, no man like you in your prime. But speak to us about your mental conditioning. You know, you were known as a guy who never gave up on a fight. I mean, there was a fight with I can't remember who it was now. He had you choked out. You should have lost the fight. You recovered, and you ended up choking him out with a rear naked choke. You were just so mentally tough. What did you do to train to become so mentally tough?
I think God gave me that. I don't know how to train being mentally tough. I really don't. Maybe there's a way, but I don't know it. I just I'm bad about if I think something I'm it's gonna happen. I I'm a big believer in there's two types of people know those that those that think they can and those that they can't. And I say they're both right.
Yeah, for sure. And fighting your twin brother didn't hurt, huh?
I had so much warm up before the fights.
And then being a farmer and working the long hours. So you come out of this coma. Your wife is with you. You don't remember who she is. You can't walk. You're not able to talk. What's going on inside of your brain? Like, what is going on mentally? What are you thinking about your future? What are you thinking?
Well, I didn't know what happened because I have no recollection of the day I was hit, which I was told that that's coming for a big brain injury like I had. That just kind of forget the whole day, and so that's normal to forget that. But I, I, out the window of the hospital, I could see a building get built. So I was glad to just watch other people work.
At what point did you realize you were going to have to get to work on yourself?
At the hospital, they had me doing therapy, and I couldn't do what she was asking. So I I, I knew I was in bad shape.
So who is I was watching this YouTube video and I can't figure out if this guy was from Colombia or America. Who is Dr. David?
I'd have to see a picture of him.
Yeah, he said
I've had
this
so many
about you.
doctors.
I know. He said this about you. He said that Matt has defied all odds to walk or talk. Do you feel like you've defied all odds, that you're a walking miracle right now?
No, I say I just every man would do the same thing I did.
So what was the turning point in your healing process? Because you've come so far. I mean, just even looking at some of your older videos and now you're walking, I mean, almost normal. I hear that you can pick up what's this about picking up bottle caps with your toes?
I went to a brain center in North Carolina, and they had me pick bottle caps up with my toes, and I can agree with that because my theory is your feet are hands.
Yeah. So are you, so now the brain center in North Carolina, how often are you going there now?
Uh, I I don't nothing planned, but I hope to go back in a couple months.
And then is that your primary care and rehab facility, or is it in Medellin, Colombia?
Stem cell was so good for me. Before I did stem cell, I couldn't walk downstairs without holding a handrail. Now I can fly downstairs like, and I like to be a normal person.
Yeah, I mean, totally. So now this is a bioaccelerator therapy in Medellin, Colombia, and stem cell therapy. So can you explain to us and walk us through what that is?
They're putting stem cells from donated umbilical cords. They take an umbilical cord and take the stem cells out of that so they get donated. Some people think it's aborted babies. It's not. It's donated umbilical cords. So it's they're injecting me with youth, and when I put them in my body, they go find the place that needs the most help. And
Yeah, and yeah, well, I know Chael Sonnen and Chuck Liddell are also doing this therapy as well.
they are, but it's just so amazing. The pharmaceutical companies don't like it, so they want a lot it get a lot here in the states. So you have to
Well,
go to calling me to get the good stuff.
Why don't they allow it here? Because it's natural and not drug related. And money, of
Correct.
course. Yeah, that's a bummer. So how often are you heading down to Medellin for this treatment?
I think my next trip is like 5 months.
And so do you do it
About
every 5 months?
every 6 months.
And what are they saying about your recovery? What are they expecting? Because you're already defying the odds. Do you see yourself walking and talking normal again?
I do, and I like the people down there. It's kind of like I they're all trying to get me better, so I seem like family.
Well, and like I said earlier, you're already walking. Are you able to jog or run at all?
I can.
And I follow you on Instagram, and you seem like, I mean, you're obviously leaner than you were when you were fighting, but you seem like you're still strong as a horse.
That trying to take anything away from my strength. I'm still very strong, but some people don't like my sense of humor now. But my sense of humor is, if I think it's funny, it's funny.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're funny. You've said a couple things, except for
What,
when you said I was ugly.
that wasn't funny. That was just the truth.
So how is your personality? So how has your
So
personality changed?
are we live right now?
Oh yeah, but yeah, say whatever you want.
So people can see how ugly you are and how good I look. Girls, does he make me look like a model? Just write in. Tell him the bad news.
Well, I told you I'm gonna go buy one of those shirts that you that the ape what are they called? Ape what?
Ape, 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 ape man. Ape
Oh, Ape
man.
Man Apparel. That's right. Yeah, I'm gonna go buy your Rebirth shirt, so I can look more like you, and I might get a little wig there on top. So
A Matt Hughes wig.
I'm gonna, yeah, exactly. So Matt, so you said that you have a sense of humor now that you didn't have in 17. What are some other personality things that people are telling you that you've developed? Is this just a natural propensity from the injury, or what's caused this personality change?
I don't know. Now, if I think it comes out my mouth. So, if someone's being mean to me, I have a more of an issue to tell them you need to be quiet and just sit down. And now, if I think I like to respond to it.
So you don't have the filter that you used to have.
And before the train, I had maybe a coffee filter, and they say the filter's totally gone now.
I hear you. I hear you. Well, everything that I'm seeing from you, and you have this couple that's helped you a lot. That she actually went down to Medellin with you. They speak about you being a lot funnier and have a great sense of humor, and everybody loves being around you.
I don't know about that because Steph doesn't like my sense of humor sometimes. Because sometimes she's the target.
Yeah, we don't like that, do we? So what are some dark moments that you've had along this journey? So it's been a 4-year journey. Have you ever fallen into a dark spot where you just thought, man, I'm in a bad place?
It's bad that after the wreck, my wife didn't want to take care of me, so she kicked me out. That was about as dark as you can get.
So how are you dealing with things like this, like the adversity of the injury, because you're having to battle back mentally and physically, right? How have you done that?
I've got some very good friends, so I can't take all the credit. Steph and Mark, they've helped me out a lot, so without my good friends, I don't know where I'd be.
And so Matt, how has your faith been impacted? Did you ever get angry at God or doubt God or say things to God that you thought, man, maybe I shouldn't have said that? How has your faith been impacted?
Now I think that I was able to survive this, and I think God had me hit on the train. I think He definitely had me hit. He controls the universe, but I think He had me hit so I can show other people you you can get better no matter what. So if someone's had a stroke with a brain injury, they can get better.
Yeah, this is, we've got guys listening on this podcast from over 100 countries. And there are a lot of guys out there, Matt, that we're big fans, are big fans. There are a lot of guys out there who have experienced divorce, stroke, heart attack, death of a loved one. Today I'm going to the cancer center with a friend of mine who's got stage 4 colon cancer. What would you tell these guys?
Don't give up. If you want it, you can achieve it. Just bring God into the picture. And sometimes I'll thank God for giving me something before He gives it, because I'm showing Him I believe in Him. So just know your body is much more stronger than we know it is, and you can recover from about anything.
Well, and just listening to you and seeing your videos, it is unbelievable, Matt, how you've progressed. And I'm 100% sure that you're going to keep progressing. And I'm really excited for you on your journey. And I think that your story is going to inspire and change the lives of thousands of people around this world. And I know that it's not a good thing that happened to you, but I think that God will use it. Romans 8:28 says, God works all things for the good for those who love Him and are called according to His purpose. And so, man, keep pressing in, man. I'm just really proud of your journey and where you are.
I am too. I'm sure so other people would have done better on something, but uh, I just I wake up and I be me. I want to get better, so I want to get back to the guy I used to be before. With my brain injury, really affected my balance and memory. Now I remember what I had for lunch and dinner the day before, which before stem cell I couldn't do that. So just stem cell has been so good for me, and the place in North Carolina, the brain doctor.
Yeah, and that North Carolina, they're doing a lot of weird, interesting things with you. They're doing, oxygen therapy, cold laser therapy, neurofeedback therapy. What are your favorite therapies that they take you through there?
I like them all, but there was a game where you hit they had like 8 buttons, goals, and when you had to hit it. So I like competition like that. But that place is called Apex Brain Center.
Yeah, Apex Brain Center. Yeah, I
Apex
saw you.
Brain Center.
Yeah, I saw you hitting the lights, and to me, you looked like you're hitting them as normal as any person. Like you were as fast as I could do it.
I don't think that's a compliment, though.
Why did I have a feeling that was coming?
Now, folks, just I got a twist of humor, and if I think it's funny, it's funny.
Hey, I'm gonna come to Mattoon here in about 6 months or so, and you and I are gonna go have a little pull-up competition or bench press, or so we're gonna work out together.
Okay.
What's your favorite thing to do when you're in the gym?
I'm a bad guy.
Are you really? Yeah,
My thing is, I don't want to push people away. I want to pull in close to me.
Oh yeah. So you're a hugger. So how many pull-ups could you do in your prime? Like, what's your most amount of pull-ups?
Probably just 12. 12 on my own. All the way, my chin above the bar and all the way down. Be, I say 12.
Now, when you were competing, though, I bet you could do close to 50.
I don't know.
All right. Well, hey, when I come out there, I'll reach out to you because be fun to go to the gym and hang out with you, man. I'm a little guy though. I weigh 250.
250.
Yeah, I'm a little bit bigger.
So you're out of my weight class.
Yeah, we can still lift weights together.
So you gotta do more pull-ups than me?
I don't know. We could play around with it and see. My goal is to do 20 pull-ups in December.
How
But,
many
I mean,
can
but
you do now?
I can probably do. I guarantee you, I could do 12. But I'd have to be standing on your back to do it.
Explain that to me.
Well, if you get on your all fours, I'll stand up on your back and do pull-ups. So I can push off your back to do the pull-ups.
Doesn't work that way.
Oh, come on. So you competed at 170-ish. What do you weigh now?
Probably 185, 87.
Oh, okay. Because you look leaner through the shoulders. So I thought maybe you were a little bit lighter than that. So you're 180. Okay, that's good. That's good. So you did the oxygen therapy. How does that make you feel when you're in that? They put you in a bag.
Sometimes it's back, sometimes it's a hard box, but you can't feel anything. You just pure oxygen the whole time. It's also called a hyperbaric.
Oh, you're in a hyperbaric chamber? That's the same thing they use for scuba diving injuries. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. So, hey, Matt, so this is my latest book. And in this book, Strong Men, Dangerous Times, we talk about 5 things that make a man make a man a man. 5 things that separate men from males. And the third thing, which is our apex or our summit of manhood, is called pursuing God passionately. What are you doing these days to pursue God passionately?
I pray all the time, and I in my truck is automatic to Joe Goldstein. I just like what he says.
Yeah, it's motivating, right?
So I read the Bible too, but I allow people read the Bible.
And then what is God saying to you these days? What does God put on your heart?
I don't know, because I'm a good talker, but sometimes I'm not a good listener.
Yeah, I think that's all of our problems, right? So our fifth thing in this book, the thing that kind of seals the deal on manhood, and I think you're wearing the shirt right now, and the fifth thing is that men finish strong. So you are known in the UFC as a great finisher. And you're 47 years old now, and you're fighting probably the greatest fight of your life. What are you doing daily to finish strong? What are some habits that you're doing now to help you finish strong?
I've got some bound stuff, so every day I do bound stuff in my house, and I go to therapies as much as I can. There's a good place in Edwardsville, about half hour from me, that he works with, like, the brain center told him what to work with me on. So just doing as much therapy as I can.
And what
which
would
is
you tell
also here to home by myself.
So how often are you going to therapy? Is it 3 times a week, or how often are you going?
Now it's probably 2 times a week.
Okay. So what would you tell a guy who is going through cancer or going through some horrible life circumstance? What would you tell that guy that he needs to do daily? Like, what 3 things would you tell him to do daily that'll help him get through to the other side?
Wake up with a great attitude and look at your accomplishments today. So don't worry about what you can do, but rejoice in what you can do. So be positive and just go out. And my theory was, when I was fighting, what my opponent's doing, so I would always outdo my opponent. So wake up and think, someone else is doing this therapy, I need to do the same thing. So just always push yourself to do more therapy.
So pushing yourself. So how does pushing yourself, in your opinion, run contrary to our culture that tells you to be comfortable?
I've never wanted to be normal, so I've always wanted to go the extra mile and do stuff. So I don't know why people think that way, but we also live in a time where people just want to be lazy and have the government checks come to the house and not work. So I just don't understand all that.
Now,
I'm retired. I'm retired and I still work every day. When I get done with this podcast, I'm going to go to work.
So what is your work right now?
I have 3 bosses. One is a township, so I'm going to go mow some dishes. Other guy does siding and gutters, and the other guy does trenching and backhoe work. So I just like to be busy.
So in your retirement at 47, you're working 3 jobs.
I'm busy now than I was before.
And I bet you that's helping you to recover and get your recover and grow and get healing, find healing.
I think so. Because every time I walk, the brain injury doctor looked at my left foot, and my foot wasn't flat. My toes were cold. And he said, your toes need to be flat, so that way you can perceive balance better. And so now I've been working on flattening my toes out and stuff like that. So every time I walk around a work area is uneven, so it's good for me balance wise. And I didn't know this, but you can't train your balance to get better. I thought either you had balance or you didn't, but you can make it better.
Well, now that's one of the things I saw on YouTube about you. It sounds like your balance is really coming along.
It is.
And so what's your goal for the next year as far as your healing goes?
I want my balance good enough. I can ride my motorcycle.
Oh yeah.
I've not been on a bike since the accident, so I did buy a little dirt bike, but I've not been on it yet. But I just want to see where my balance is, because like now I don't fall over or anything, but I just don't know how good my balance is.
No, I hear you. Well, what's your favorite thing to do for fun anymore?
Well, I like to work.
Are you doing any hunting?
No.
Not right now. So, well, hey, we sure appreciate you coming on our show, Matt. And I think that you are an inspiration to the guys listening. I'd love to get you on in a year and just look at your progress and get to celebrate that with you. And so I will be in Mattoon, and I will text you when I get there. and we can go hit the gym or do something fun.
Okay, and I'm sure these people are think the same thing, but you guys make me look like a model, so I'll go on your show anytime you want.
I'm telling you, yeah, we can go walk around Mattoon, and you're going to look like a supermodel. Hey, thanks for coming on, Matt. We sure appreciate you, brother. So, Dale, hey, what's
You guys
next,
are
man? Hey, thank you so much. I'll send you this book. I'll get it to you so you can check it out. So, hey, so Dale, what's
Thank
next,
you.
man? Drive us home, brother.
Yeah, guys, we want you to head on over to meninthearena.org and check out our program. And also, guys, we just want you to get involved and invest in becoming your best version. Until next time, feel the wet sand on the arena floor, hear the deafening roar of the crowd, taste the sweetness of victory, smell the stench of battle, get in the game, get dirty, grind it out, and
Be a man.
You've been listening to the Men in the Arena podcast. If you hunger to be your best version, then join thousands of men from around the world in our Men in the Arena forum on Facebook. This is the best place to have open discussions around the topic of biblical manhood. Make sure to explore our website at meninthearena.org, sign up for the weekly equipping blast, and take advantage of our many free resources designed to help you become your best version of a man. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Men in the Arena podcast. Remember, when a man gets it, everyone wins.